Hello, friends, and welcome back to Motivation Mondays on A Peculiar Project. I'm Fritza. Today, I want to continue our discussion on authenticity, talking about how difficult it can be for some of us. And I'm going to start today with a little story. I once brought some creative writing to my feedback group. Hello, FOTQ. I brought in a passage in which a crow lands on the ground and my main character talks to it. He's a witch. It's not quite as crazy as it sounds, maybe. Um, and the crow seems to affirm something and then it flies off. And my feedback group said, crows are social animals and therefore there should be more than one crow in the scene. Well, I've been observing the antics of the crows that live in the few blocks around my house, and sometimes I will see one alone. Often they appear in twos or threes. Sometimes there's a pair that seems to tussle with the others. I'm not an expert in crow psychology, but I know they aren't always in a flock like sparrows seem to be. It seems that crows go off in their own directions and then report back. So, like members of a family. So, why am I talking about bird behavior? Well, because humans aren't all that different. Yes, each of us is a unique individual, but we are also fundamentally social animals. In fact, it's our social nature that allows us to specialize. So, what do I mean by that? Think about a community of Native Americans pre-Columbus. We know that they used stone projectile points, commonly referred to as arrowheads. We know that making these points is a refined skill that took patience and practice. The person who made arrowheads for the community was probably a valued artisan, and perhaps not someone who went out hunting because they were too busy refining their craft. Maybe in that same community, there were a few master basket weavers. Maybe there was a proto carpenter, someone who made the frames for homes and drying racks and rickshaws. If everyone lived alone, isolated, they wouldn't have access to any of those artisan crafts, any of those objects. They would be too busy surviving day to day, eating whatever they could find, finding safety at night. Day to day survival takes effort. Think about that for a moment. If you were living day to day, you wouldn't have access to specialty items, nor would you have time to specialize. In fact, if we were all living independent, separate lives, we'd all be reduced to doing the exact same thing. None of us would have time for creative self expression. That is the gift of community, of society, of culture. When we live in community, we depend on each other's gifts. Someone is good at gardening, someone is good at hunting, someone is good at making the tools that make hunting and gardening successful. Specialization is a result of living in society. We're all unique. We each bring our own gifts to the community. My point is, community is important and individuality is important. This push and pull between individualism and conformity is a constant source of tension in us as conscious people. Healthy living within families, within a neighborhood, on the highways requires that we conform to social norms. At times, this natural tendency to fit in goes too far. When we always seek to blend in, to avoid being noticed, or to please everyone, we lose sight of our inner compass. Even in the American culture that is so focused on individuality, we find it hard to truly be ourselves. All of this is to say, if you struggle with living authentically, that's okay. That's normal. Perhaps that's as it should be. So today, in your journal, just write any feelings or thoughts that came up as you watched this. And then write about when it's important for you to fit in and when you find your self-expression goes against the grain, but it's equally important. So just free write on any feelings about this that you have. And I will, if you like this kind of content, please do like and subscribe. And if you really want to support the channel, leave a comment down below. I would love to hear from you. Thanks, and I'll talk to you more next week.